Hi folks, Chris here from CC Detecting and Scrapping. Got this Sony Trinitron the other day from a co-worker. I had it in a video from a few days ago that I put up. It's the e-waste pickup. Most TVs are pretty common the way they're built. They all have the coil, the ferrite core on top of the back of the tube, and the gauzing cable, stuff like that. So once you take apart one TV, you kind of have a pretty good idea how to take them all apart. So I just thought I'd take this one apart real quick for you, and then what I'll do in the next video is take apart a monitor and just show you the differences between what is on the TV side of things as well as a CRT monitor. So let me get some tools and flip this on its face, and we'll get going. Alright, so I got it laying down flat. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start removing all the screws. We got a bunch of screws in here. I also remove all these ones here that's holding in the video components in that, as well as take out all the ones down the side here. Now you can see in there. What I do with the ones that are holding the case on is I put them in a separate bucket, because at the end I put the outer shell back on, and I can take the tube and the plastic to a recycle yard here in town that'll process it there. So, which is pretty nice to have. That way I can just take out the insides that I need, and then they can deal with the rest of it there. Alright, so we got the outer shell off there, off the TV. Now we can get into the inside part. As you can see, this yoke is a little bit more higher end than some of the other TVs. It's got a double circuit board here, and then in here is where your copper and your ferrite are. It also has its own little degauzing cable around it, so that's kind of cool. We got the big degauzing cable here, which wraps around the top and the bottom. It's fastened here. We'll just snip those out. As you can see, we got a set of speakers down at the bottom, and then we got another one over there, and then there's your low-grade TV board. I think all the boards here on this are all low-grade, but when we pop it out, we'll take a quick look. This one also has a bunch of little push buttons up here at the front, so we're going to take those off as well. So the first thing I do when I start taking these apart is I start unattaching any wire, just to make sure that's not in the way when I'm taking things apart. This one here, there are videos online for how to destatikize it, but what I do is I don't even bother taking this part off, because it's usually just a metal insert. I know this TV hasn't been run for a while, so I just snip this wire here and go, and then I just did that as part of the tube. So let me start taking some wires apart here, and then we'll get to the next stage. So without too much work, we've already been able to pull out two circuit boards here. This one's right here. It just slid right out. This low-grade board. They're both low-grade boards. This one here has got a couple of IC chips and capacitors. Let me have some copper in it. Well, I'll pop that off and take a look. And then a little copper transformer there. This one's much the same thing. Some low-grade resistors, a couple of IC chips, things like that. Nothing too exciting. The power cable's already come off pretty easily. It just clipped right in and wasn't attached to anything. We've already started getting a pile of insulated cable, but the thing I wanted to show you was this circuit board here. So down there, as you can see, this circuit board will not come out very easily, because it's got this little locking pin right here. So before you pull that out, or before you pull the circuit board out, you want to make sure that you pull that tab back, or just snap it off like that, and then the circuit board just pops right out. There we go. And now we can get access to the rest of those wires to unhook those, and then I'll get right back to you here. Alright, so all the wires are unhooked now that we can get unhooked here. We got the degauzing cable connectors. They're all there. I cut this tie down, which is used to hold the degauzing cable in. We'll take care of the yoke in a second. I've also done the tie down on this side. And now we're just going to finish freeing up the rest of the circuit board. So what I do is I just take the snips there. And then we got a couple of wires here. Well, that was the back of my hand, but we got a couple of wires here. And we just finished taking care of those. Nothing has to be fancy. And there we go. So now we have another low-grade board. Now, for the yoke part, this first circuit board should just pop right off. There we go. So it's another low grade board, so we'll trim that up. This one here, as you can see, we got a connector right here. Now these bars, or sorry, the bands here are usually stainless steel, whereas these are steel, but sometimes I've seen them where they're both stainless steel. So what I do for those is I just grab my drill, just take the drill, put it in, undo it real quick, and then that just slides right off. So, and then we can take that band and all their other stuff off after. It's got a couple little copper connectors there, some heat sinks, a couple little copper bearing devices on there, like that one is one. But it really is just another low grade board. So we'll just throw that in the bin and we'll get going. This part here, you can see we got another one here. So let me undo that and then we'll take care of this rest of this yoke. Alright, so we got that unfastened. Let's throw that over there in the pile. Now these, they're usually not fastened on very well. Just enough to hold them in place. And you should be able to just give them a quick little push and then they come right out. As you can see, it's a full copper yoke. So that's pretty cool. Now, a lot of people are saying that you gotta watch out for breaking these and that, and you do. However, the sound you hear is usually air going into the tube. These are usually vacuum tubes, so it's usually air sucking in. I don't advise smashing these at all. You can strip down a TV pretty easily without breaking the glass. There are phosphoruses and some other things in here. This glass is lead filled, I think it's called, or lead infused, however they work the word that. It's leaded glass, so you know it's not healthy for you to be smashing. We should let a proper recycling center take care of it. So let me get the couple of these wires cleaned up here, and then we'll take the degaussing cable off and go from there. So these degaussing cables are actually held in with a kind of cool little device right here on the side. Just a plastic little insert. It had a wire going across the top here to hold it in place. So as you can see, we got another one right here. Wiggle it out. And then, there we go. We got one nice big chunk of degaussing cable now. This one comes with two of them. On smaller TVs, you get one this size, so that's why I like these bigger TVs. You get two of them. They're pretty cool. They're easy to take apart. I showed that how to do that easily in another video. And there you go. So the last thing we have left to do is we just need to take apart, put the screws in there and take that off. Little buttons from the top of the TV. And we're going to pop these speakers out as well. So let me get those done and I'll show you what we do next. Oh, sorry, and I just noticed we have the this little tin wire here. So we're going to take that out as well. Alright, so that's TV's pretty much done, as much as I'm going to do it here. So what I'll do now is I'll put the outer shell back on, screw it down, and then throw it in the back of the truck with the other one I did a few days ago. And then we'll go through this pile of stuff and I'll show you what I got out of it. Alright, so before we go and weigh anything out, small pile of plastic garbage. I don't think I can recycle any of those here in town, so I'll just throw those in my bin. A little bit of tin. These speakers are small enough, I just throw them in the tin. There is a little bit of copper in there, but I don't know, it's for the amount of time you have to use to just get that tiny amount out, just let someone else do it. So there's that copper yoke with that tiny degaussing cable on it. We got two degaussing cables here. They feel pretty light though, so I think they might end up being aluminum. Still alright, we'll strip those out. A small pile of insulated wire, and then a small pile of low grade board. These here though, these little buttons, if you have the time, you have a lot of them, they do have a little silver contact in them, so I tend to throw all those in a bin when I process my circuit boards. But anyway, let me get all this stuff in the house cleaned up and we'll see what they weigh in at. Alright, so just before I go through what was in that Sony Trinitron TV, I just want to show you, here's a smaller TV that I have in my basement that I'm going to be taking apart today as well. So you see it's got same things as the bigger TV has. It's got the copper yoke, circuit board on top. This one has one solid circuit board which isn't in very well. couple speakers, and a degaussing cable. Really, that's all that's in a TV. They're pretty easy to take apart. When these cables are copper, they're pretty easy, or pretty good, pay as well. I love taking apart TVs. I find them pretty simple and just bang for the buck. They're not too bad for me anyway. So I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. Let's see what's inside that other one when you weigh it out. Alright, so I broke this one down pretty small, probably broke it down more than is really needed, but it's just the way I work. I don't know if it's OCD or what, but I break things down as much as possible. That I find is beneficial for me. Some things I don't really worry about, but others, for whatever reason, I tend to break down quite a bit. So for that TV, we had 983 grams of tin, or 2 pounds, 2.7 ounces. What that included was the speakers and some of the screws, things like that. We had 17 grams or 0.6 of an ounce of stainless. Those were those brackets that I was showing you around the yoke, and one of those screws ended up being stainless as well. The coated wire is it's like a tin coated wire that goes around the tube part. I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but 9 grams of that, or 0.3 of an ounce. It all adds up after a while, right? So the insulated wire, I got 191 grams or 6.7 ounces. The aluminum wire, which unfortunately the degaussing cable ended up being aluminum, but that's alright, they're pretty easy to rip apart as well. 489 grams or 1 pound, 1.2 ounces. The shielded wire, there's a little bit of shielded wire in there. It was 8 grams or 0.3 of an ounce. Stripped wire, this was the mini degauss cable around the yoke, the plug-in cord, a couple of the copper bearing components that came apart pretty easily. I already took those apart. So we got 255 grams there, or 8.9 ounces. The copper yoke itself was 10 pounds, 7 ounces, or 304 grams. The brass ends, like the plug ends or off the insulated wire, was 8 grams or 0.3 of an ounce. I also weighed out the plastic brass ends, like the little plastic connectors have the brass in them. I put those in a bin. I'm hoping the yard will take them, so we'll see what happens though. 3.2 grams or 1.1 ounces. And then low grade board, 2,131 grams or 4 pounds, 11 ounces. So what I wanted to mention about my low grade boards is I don't clean my low grade boards right off the bat when I'm taking things apart. I put them in a box and strip them down later. So like for this main TV board, it's got a couple of pretty big chunks of aluminum in it. This is copper bearing, some switches here, another copper bearing there, more aluminum, right? These, like I said before, these little buttons have little silver contacts in them, so we can take those off and put them in a bin for later. Here's some more copper bearing stuff. So it all adds up when you strip it down. I just don't do it right now. There's no place in my area that takes low grade boards that I found. They say I can throw it in with my shred and get whatever my shred is at, which is your current white good price. I think it's just a penny a pound or something like that right now. That's where all my circuit boards would go. So like I said, I throw them all in a box and I take care of them that way. When I have a couple boxes full, I'll sit down and go through them all. So that's about it. For this part of the video, I will take apart a monitor when I got a little bit of free time and a little bit of room, and just show you the differences between what's basically in a standard CRT TV and what is in a basic standard CRT monitor. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative. Please like, comment, and subscribe.